Hey, Tony Gaskins here. Welcome to another episode of Talks with Tony. Now, I premiered one last night, and just something that I decided to do for the Blessed Tribe, being that I haven't been able to go live, as often as I would like. So, with the premiere, at least you can chat amongst each other and, kind of just talk and what have you as the video is going. Now, I'm still going in order with these emails. I see this one is a short one, just not too many lines, so I don't know how long the answer will be. And so if I get through this inside of 30 minutes, then I'll just go to the next one. And these typically will be 30 minutes to an hour, just going with the flow. So this question here says, "Hi Tony, the pandemic and me getting laid off last week got me doing something stupid out of boredom. I Googled my ex boyfriend. When we dated, I ignored a lot of the red flags. Divorced twice by age 33. Constant BS. Remember, this mean it's in parentheses. I ignored a lot of the red flags. Divorced twice by age 33. Constant BS. Emotional cheating. Partying and drinking too much. I didn't know I didn't know any better and stayed longer than I should have, a year and a half. But stupid me, I Googled him and found out that he's now married and it happened pretty quickly. I know we're not suited for each other. I know he's not the one and neither is she because she's the third wife. But I would like some insight on how guys can move on so fast. Even guys who have so many red flags get married. How does this even work? Meanwhile, some guys trying to talk to me at the gym but won't ask for my number. Well, that right there might be the eighth wonder of the world, but just, a different kind of wonder, not one to behold, but one to wonder about. And this is what you have to realize is now you could talk to a therapist or a counselor or somebody and they'll have some studies, that's based on 1,000 people or 100,000 people that shows, oh, people who grew up like this or grew up in this way, this is what they end up doing. But when you look across the board, men and women, and this is something, if you're watching this, to think about for yourself, and ask yourself, can I be alone? Can I be alone? Because a lot of people cannot be alone. And for some people, it's because of abandonment issues, just not having anyone there that when they get the opportunity to date, they want to have somebody there. And then for some people, they can't be alone because they have been coddled their whole life. They've always had someone solving their problems. Their mother was, or their father, or grandmother, or aunt, or whoever raised them was so overbearing, like was just so there, was always enabling them that they became codependent on the help of someone, having someone to bail them out. So when they get to the age that you can date, they can't see themselves being alone. For whatever reason, they need somebody to take up that time, that space. They need to have companionship, just like the letter yesterday from the young lady who she went to college. She had a mother and father in the home, sound like, because she had her dad calling the guy. But she went to college and she said, hey, I need somebody to sleep with. I need somebody to have companionship with. And it's like, why can't we be alone? So I've seen women do this as well as I've seen men do this. And I've seen women be single and not have anybody. And I've seen men be single and not have anybody. Now, when I look across the board, when you look at heterosexual individuals, I have seen women wait and last longer single than men. A lot of times, if a man crosses, for a lot of times, a man not being in a relationship does not mean he's abstaining from sex. Him not being in a relationship may not mean that he's not having friends with benefits. But sometimes you'll meet, but very rarely you'll meet a man who is single and he's abstinent. He's not sleeping with anybody. And now to meet the man that's single and abstinent, abstaining from sex and from Angela and nasty movies, that'll become even more rare. For a woman, the desire for the average woman to be in the bed with a man is not the exact same. Some women say, oh yeah, it's the exact same, but then you'll talk to another woman, she's like, oh well, she needs to speak for herself because I don't need no dang-a-lang to get through. That's how she is. I live with a woman, and so I know that, a woman can do without if need be, especially if it's extenuating circumstances like some fatigue, other lot going on. A woman could be fine without having to be in that bed, doing the tango. But you don't oftentimes see that in our society today. Today, we are so overly sexualized, and relationships are just for monetization now. Everybody's trying to get in a relationship to get a podcast together, to get a brand deal together, to get free vacations to somewhere, to get some type of perk for being in a relationship. And relationships are photo shoots today. And everybody trying to show something. Everybody love having that status, say taken or in a relationship or married on Facebook. And so now it's being glamorized, but the work that it requires to make it work isn't being shown. That's not being glamorized. And so people just want to stay with somebody. So now you got men and women, from the day they break up with somebody, they with somebody the next day. They with somebody the next week, the next month. And they moving right on. And it's like, wow, weren't y'all together like 8-9 years? It's been 3 months. How you pregnant? And then you kind of wonder, like, okay, well, were y'all together, or did we just not know what was going on? Like, how you just broke up with old boy and now you pregnant? How you just broke up with old girl and now you married? And now you got this woman over here pregnant. And that's how society is moving. So what you have to realize is that, too, just like this woman, she chose this man and she's like, okay, I'm finna be his third wife. Yippee. She just was so happy. Yes, I'm finna be his third wife. Yes, third wife. Yes. Oh my God, the third wife. That, you know what? They said 3 is the charm. The third is the charm. And so she's so hyped and ready to be the wife, but what is she suffering from? What's her issues? How does she see this man who done been married and divorced by 33, knowing he wasn't innocent? Now he wasn't the innocent one, and you said it was a whole lot emotional cheating, partying, and drinking too much, constant BS. So he ain't no angel, and you stayed with him in a year and a half, and so that's a long time. That's 18 months. So you got to ask yourself, what kept you there them 18 months? If what kept you there the 18 months with him got all that going on, partying too much, drinking too much, emotional cheating, constant BS, he's already divorced twice by the age of 33. If you stay 18 months, then what you think she under? She under the same spell you was under. But then he got with her and he married her. And see, this is the thing. When a man, he lost you. So because he lost you, it's like, wow, okay, a woman has the strength to walk away from me. If he know he trash, if he know he's not going to grow, if he know he's not going to change, this next woman he going to get with her, he doesn't care about marriage. He doesn't care about the sanctity, the sacredness, the covenant. He don't care about marriage. Marriage for him is to lock a woman in. It's to lock you in, to give you an extra barrier, an extra hurdle that you have to jump to get away. Because if I say, oh, you just my girlfriend, and then I'm a dog and I'm acting crazy, you just go up and leave. But if I marry you, now you got to pay for a divorce attorney. You got to go through the divorce proceedings. You got to go to court, see what we split, and if it's anything to split. If you got kids, you got to talk about custody. So a grown boy will marry a woman quickly to trap her, especially if he knows he's not gonna do right. And yes, there's a slim chance, oh, she could be the one. He fell and bumped his head, woke up Prince Charming. Now he's so ready for love, and now, but that's probably not the case. That's probably not the case. 9 out of 10 times, that's not the case. But let's say it is. Now, see, here's the thing. What you need to do, go on about your business. I got all these shirts sitting here, y'all. I just ain't released them yet. Eventually, one day. But you need to go on about your business, because now you got laid off. You sitting home. You Googling him. So now, do this man got that wang-a-lang? Because he got you Googling him. You all on the Google. And then he got her. She got married right away. He got you, had a lot going on, and you stayed 18 months. So what is this fella doing? You see what I'm saying? What is this fella doing? So you have to realize, so when you look at that, you got to realize, okay, she no different than you. She just got a ring with hers. So she under the spell, but she done got her ring. So she thinking, oh my goodness, it's love at first sight. We need to go on that show. Love at first sight, or married in 90 days, or fiance 90 days, whatever stuff is. We need to be on the show, because, ooh, this is amazing. But then guess what? He'll lull her to sleep. Remember, lull, L-U-L-L. He'll lull her to sleep. Not love, not L-O-V-E, lull. He will lull her to sleep, and then she'll wake up 9 months in, a year in, and he's a hot, terrible garbage. And she like, oh my goodness, I'm stuck. So now she'll spend the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years trying to make it work, because he trapped her with that marriage. So you got to understand what's going on. And when you look at that, you can't lose sleep over that. You can't even get tied up with that. You can't be in a place to where you like you trapped over that. You got to heal. You got to grow, because now he in your search history. So now you meet your man tomorrow. Y'all hanging out down there with your mask on. You pull up your phone. You getting ready. Oh, let me show you this funny meme on Facebook. You go to Facebook. You go to Google. You get ready to Google something. You type the letter, your ex name come up, because he in your search history now. The man looking over your shoulder. Oh, who that is? Who Joe Brown? Oh, you see what I'm saying? So now you got to start all over, because now you got to get him out your system. You got to get him all the way out your system and get distant from that. I just released the course, Moving On. So in one part in there, I'm talking about leave the past in the past. Leave the past in the past. So you got to address that tie you have to him. Leave the past in the past and go on about your business, because now it's time for you to do your healing so you can attract what's for you. And you cannot envy grown boys and grown girls and what they got going on. Because if the man ain't no good, if you know he ain't no good, you know he ain't the type to go do the work. Work on himself, learn how to love, learn how to do right. If you know that's not the case with him, then you know if a grown boy got a woman, then you know she's a grown girl. You know she don't know her left from her right, from a can of paint, the man on the moon, broke, busted, and disgusted, looking like who shot John and forgot to kill him. She going through herself. So all you could do is just send up a prayer, heal, grow, make sure that your loss become a lesson, that you learn from it, and you able to move forward. Point blank period. So this thing. So I got y'all shirts sitting here. They all wrapped up in the packages and stuff. So I been here. I don't be having me nothing to wear. So I've been cracking open me a new shirt every day. So I had this same shirt on yesterday, but there was a different one. It was a large. It was a little snug. Couldn't hardly breathe on the video. I'm trying to breathe through my ear, trying to catch some breath. And so today I popped open me an extra large. So when I release them and it's a couple numbers short, Hey, I had to make use of these shirts. So just understand that. Okay. So we're gonna go on because I'll answer that in 15 minutes. And now with the premiere, I know y'all probably think Tony's probably on here watching the premiere too. No, I'm not that type of person. I don't watch myself. I know the premiere was on yesterday, but I intentionally did not go on there just because I'm still not past shooting. I still ain't got past, being a shooter. And it's just somebody say something stupid, I be trying to call a hitter, a. So I don't like to watch my work. So y'all understand that when y'all here, you got to if this premieres, I don't know if it will or not. If it's premiering, you got to watch yourself, govern yourself. Take care of yourself in the chat room and don't be all negative, nasty, and all that. It's moderators that still could put you in timeout and all that. Delete your message or hold your message or what have you. So just kind of watch yourself. So this next letter now, this one came in to me 4:33 a.m. And remember, these are old letters because I'm just going through them one at a time, and I still got nearly 1,900 of them to go through. But this one's a little longer, and so we're gonna read this one together. Dear Mr. Gaskins, thank the Lord I have found you, and thank you for doing what you do. You have helped me realize and learn a lot of things. Sorry in advance for this email. I just want to hear some sound, unbiased advice. I am unable to move on from my past relationship. I have watched your videos. I have not done enough work, and I know that. This situation with this man is breaking me. I keep sabotaging my healing, and I feel like I'm losing my mind sometimes. I have a 1-year-old child with this man. He never wanted to see her until recently, and I refuse. He is not a danger to the child, but I am not mentally able to handle being in any contact with him whatsoever. Every time I come home after seeing him, I feel so broken to the point of being idle. Now I done told y'all. I done told y'all. I'm a life coach. I'm like a mentor. You see what I mean? I'm like a mentor. I work with NBA teams and NCAA teams, as a team mentor, companies and things of that nature. As a mentor, life coach, I'm not a grief counselor. I'm not a therapist. You see what I mean? So I can touch on certain things, but when you go to Holland by you ready to take your life and all that, it's like, listen, that's outside of my realm. That's outside of my scope. You understand what I'm saying? And I know sometimes when you writing, it's kind of like poetry, and then y'all go thinking y'all Edgar Allan Poe and want to put too much sauce on it. It's like you got to understand. You keep this, surface level, and because we can't be, you got to go to therapy. You got to go to therapy. You got to, sit and do that work. And here's the thing: you saying this one thing, but at the same time, you diagnosing yourself right in the letter. So a lot of times, this is what you have to understand: that in every problem, there are seeds to the solution. You already know the answer, and you can do it. You can heal. You can grow. If you have the wherewithal to assess yourself and to diagnose yourself, and you know what you are doing and what you haven't done, then you have the tools to do the work. So if you don't want to do the work, then say that. But you are able. You say, I am unable. You able. Just like you able to watch these videos and you able to write in. You're able because we powerful as humans. The mind, the brain is powerful. So we got to stop telling ourselves what we're not able to do, because when you say I'm unable, you just write that code. You're writing the code in your brain. Unable, unable, unable. And what the quote says that if you think you can, or if you think you can't, you're right. So that's what you have to realize and understand, that you are able to heal, to grow, to change. The brain is already trying to process healing and growth and change. And so you have to let the work occur, and you got to keep doing what you're doing. And when you hear something that is like, balm for an open wound, you got to apply it. You got to apply, because knowledge, just the knowing, is not the power. The application of what you know is where you become powerful. So understand that now. So y'all just keep that in mind for y'all who writing me. Let's keep this thing, kind of like the other lady said, hey, why do grown boys get to do this? And what she just mentioned, we talked about this in the video, a couple of videos when I was talking about on the co-parenting situation. So now it's not really hurting the child yet, because you got a 1-year-old. So the 1-year-old is not all the way there, to really understanding and knowing, like, okay, daddy, I need daddy for this issue, this issue, this issue. So it ain't that bad of a thing yet. But when it comes around 3, 4, maybe for some, being that you got a girl, 2.5, start to understand daddy, especially if she's gonna be around other kids, start to understand daddy and what daddy useful for, even if he just at 2.5 just useful for her pulling on his ear, slapping him when she want to. He'll have some kind of use, or playing with the toys, or playing, Barbies or dinosaurs, whatever she into. And that's when you have to kind of start to, implement some things. And we talked about this on the co-parenting. Remember, we got co-parenting coaches on mymentor.life, to where help you create some strategies to where you might just need to have a mediator. You might need to stay out of it and let mama, sister, whoever come in and do the drop-offs and pick-ups for you, so you don't have to see him and interact with him. Continue. Mind you, I am 22 and the father is 40. Nah. See, so now you're getting a little closer. To the underlying issues. And remember, I always tell y'all about the age difference. 5 years up, 5 years down. When you get outside of that range, it's finna get foggy. It's finna get a little muddy. So the thing is, you got to think about this. And there's a lot of times people don't do this because they think, oh, we both adults. We all adults. But think about this. Picture a 22-year-old dating a newborn. You see what I'm saying? That's how you got to look at age difference. But a lot of times we don't do that. What that means is, when this man here, he almost 20 years older than you. He 18 years older than you. So now picture, I'm going to use y'all exact age difference. Picture a 18-year-old dating a newborn. Picture a 19-year-old dating a 1-year-old. What advantages does this 19-year-old have over the 1-year-old? The 1-year-old can't control anything. The 1-year-old can't articulate the feelings. The 1-year-old can't outsmart. The 19-year-old has 18 years of growth, of learning, of experience over this 1-year-old. The same thing happens when you're 40 and you're 22. He has 18 years of manipulation tactics if he wants to use them, of games if he wants to use them. He has 18 years more of dating real world experience than you. And that's part of the reason that when you go around him and you come back, you feel like you done. Because he running games and he doing things and he can say things and he know things. He pressing buttons you don't even know what he done press. He doing stuff, saying stuff that you don't have no response to because he got 18 more years in the hole than you. And so again, that was something that you did not know, because you didn't find my videos before you start dealing with them. But now you know going forward. Don't go out here looking for your daddy. Because if you get with somebody that's old enough to be your daddy, he's going to try to re-raise you. And a lot of women think that, oh, I'm gonna be with an older man, way older man, because he financially stable. All right, yeah, he gonna be telling you what to do too, what to wear, what you can't wear. And then women say, oh, well, men your age do that too. Well, it's different when a man older than you, way older than you, telling you, because now he think he could whoop you. Now he think he could take his belt off because he old enough to be your daddy. It's your daddy classmate. You with this man. And I ain't talking to her, I'm just talking to y'all that y'all trying to find y'all an old provider because you so worried about your hypergamy. I know it's called hypergamy. You so worried about your hypergamy that you looking for this man old as Methuselah out here because you want you a Benz and you want your 4-5 bedroom house in a gated community. And so you feel like you got to have a man 20 years older than you to have that term, oh, he mature. If he's single and that age, then how mature is he? He got issues too, because if he was so mature, he wouldn't be single and available for you. So he got issues he working through. That just because he old as dirt, don't mean that he's gonna be so mature. So you got to understand that now. See, this one right here, normally I read the whole letter and then I talk through it, but when it got right here too deep, so I'm talking in general. I'm talking in general. I ain't talking to her now. I ain't talking to her. I'm talking in general, just to pulling the lessons from it. Because sister who wrote in, you got to go to therapy. Got to go to therapy. Got to sit down. Because see, therapists, they have treatment plans. Life coaches, we don't have treatment plans. Life coaches support system is wisdom, is knowledge, is understanding, but it's more so just accountability. It's support. We don't have the difference between a coach and a therapist. Is coaches, we can't diagnose you. We can't label you. We can't say, oh, you suffering from this and diagnose you. And then some, therapists or doctors or what have you can prescribe a medicine if you feeling depressed or something. They could see life coaches don't do all of that. And so that's why I'm just speaking to the generalities and not this exact specific situation here that she's dealing with. Before she was born, we broke up for good. And then Corona came, which helped me heal for a big part and stay away from him for a year. People were telling me I was glowing and looked so happy, but I keep doing this thing where I sabotage myself and go see him again. I don't know why. I don't love this man anymore. I just feel so attached. Even when being away from him for a year, I felt like I have left my heart with him. He was my first. Maybe that has something to do with it. He keeps wanting to see her, or he says, come live with me and take the child with you. But I don't want to because I know I will be miserable. He doesn't want to marry me, and I don't blame him because I am a mess. But I don't want to settle for this HE double hockey sticks either. I hate him, and I know he hates me because I've left him and blocked him many times before, and he resents me for that. We have such a horrible, toxic, disgusting relationship. There has never been any beating or cursing, none of that. But we still have both hurt each other deeply. I am so young, but I feel a bitter, divorced, 40-year-old single mother. But I feel like a bitter, divorced, 40-year-old single mother. I feel used, low, and not worthy of love anymore. How could I have lost my self-respect to this point? I want to heal, but I can't even forgive myself. Any advice, Tony? Thank you. My wife got no old fancy chair. Ooh, chair ain't got no cushion in the thing. I was sitting in this chair. I'm like, I gotta get my old chair back. But this chair, I ain't gonna hurt your booty. Hey. Y'all hold on one second. Give me a little more cushion, but chair look good. Let me show you this chair. It look good. It's like, yeah, you look cool. But so ain't got no good cushion. coccyx just all down to the frame of the chair. Chair cost some money too now. Whew. This chair feel better. Y'all forgive me. Y'all forgive me. Sister. God bless you. God bless you. Now this sister here is name come from another country. And let's see with my good eye. And it could be in America. Now in America, this would be considered Caucasian, but this sister here, but if she in another country, based on her last name, if she in another country, I'm not sure what it. Do y'all say white or do y'all say you know what I mean? I don't know what that is. So and then too, I don't know if the gentleman, being that she followed me, typically when it's a woman of another race that follows me, a lot of the women of other races that follow me date black men. And so they come in here trying to understand a black man. I don't know if that's the case. Now, if that is the case, that's a whole nother thing to it, because that does matter. When you're not of the same race, that plays into it. The main thing here, sister, is you 22. You his daughter. You take him around your family. Your dad'll be classmate. Hey, how you doing? What? Oh, what? Yeah. What you doing here with my daughter? Huh? You see what I'm saying? That's your dad classmate, and so that's the main bulk of the issue. Now, when you say there's no beating and cursing, then that throws it way off, because it's like, okay, so if it's not nothing physical going on, if it's not cursing, then what exactly y'all doing toxic? Like what exactly is going on in here? If y'all ain't even cursing, then what are y'all doing? Just the way y'all look at each other, like knocking your food off the table, like I'm just not understanding, like just silent treatments all the time. Like I'm not understanding, because typically when you feeling like this, you say we have such a horrible, toxic, disgusting relationship. So yes, I know a person could make you feel 2 inches tall without cursing at you or without laying a finger on you. So I'm guessing that's what you're talking about. And that right there just speak to the issues that he has as a man 18 years older than you. And instead of making you feel healthy, whole, and confident, you feeling like a piece of trash. And then in return, this the thing. Now you're internalizing. Because you saying you hate him and he all this and that, like he the most horrible person in the world. But then you blaming yourself in the next breath, and you say he don't want to marry me, and I don't blame him because I am a mess. So what? And then you say, but I don't want to settle for this HELL either. So sister, and so we have to pull a lesson from this. Without necessarily speaking to her situation, because for one, this email from November 10th, so whatever she has done, she's going to do whatever she decided, with this relationship, she has decided it by now, I would like to think, or took a year off and went back to him. But it's something to understand, and this why I tell you cannot play with love. You can't play with relationships, and that's why people think. It's so many people that think, oh, every relationship coach is fake, and every relationship coach is scammers, and every relationship coach is cheating on their wife and all of that. It's so many people that think that, but there are some people who bring in a real and a pure message, because we understand the dangers at hand. So that's the thing, is that when you go into a relationship, that's life or death. This lady right here just said that. She just said that, how she feel. That's life or death, because you playing with your heart. You playing with your mind. I just saw a thug online yesterday in a video and lighting up, smoking his blunt, talking about he'll kill a woman by his heart. And this a thug. He talking about his homeboy so messed up, his homeboy ain't read up. And if you know what read up mean to buy some more drug to go back to selling because his heart broke from his lady. And so then this a thug now. So now you have this lady, who complete opposite. I seen a black man say one thing about how dangerous this is, and then I've seen this white woman say how dangerous this is. So that shows you male, female, black, white, yellow, purple, green, blue. You do not play with relationships. So what you have to do is you have to get the knowledge. Before you pass go, you need to get the knowledge on what is real love. What is real love? What does it look like? Who has it that you could listen to, that you could learn from? Love is not pain. Love is not agony. People say love is pain. No, love did not hurt you. Stop lying on love. Somebody who did not know how to love hurt you. Love did not hurt you. Get it straight. When somebody loving you, that's going to feel good. When somebody is hurting you, they are not operating from love. Therefore, love did not hurt you. A relationship can hurt you, but love did not hurt you. Don't get it twisted. Stop lying on the name of love, because God is love. God is pure. God is perfect. Love is pure. Love is perfect when we are operating from love. See, when we operating from self-hate, it's going to be painful. When we're operating from jealousy, from ignorance, from weakness, from insecurity, it's going to be painful. When we're operating from immaturity, it's going to be painful. But that is not love. That's not the act of love. So we have confused love with pain, and we think the two are synonymous. But love is not pain. Love is pure. A relationship that lacks love is full of pain. And that's what you got to understand. So you have to learn what is real love. What is a real relationship? What is a real man? What is a real woman? Now, when you put this all together, now you have the knowledge to proceed safely, and you don't go into something and miss every red flag. That's why love and relationship on every level should be taught in school and in college, but it's not. And so now you go and get all this knowledge from school to learn how to go do a job, but you have no knowledge about love and relationships. So now you go get in love in a relationship, and now you can't do your job because your relationship done stole your mind. Now your degrees is rendered powerless because your relationship done stole your mind. Because you learn how to read and write, but you did not learn how to be in a relationship with another human being who is dealing with things themselves. Could have been abandoned, could have been abused, could have been dogged out, mistreated, cheated on, beat, cursed out, could have went through everything under the sun, and then they come get with you, and now they see that they know more than you about this here world, about this here life, and they take it out on you. And so now this 40-year-old man, he get in a situation with you as a 22-year-old woman, you his first. Now see, that's the other thing where a lot of people don't believe in ties. A lot of people don't believe these emotional ties exist, but they do. Because you associated your virginity with your identity. You associated your virginity with your identity. So when you gave it to this man, you gave him a piece of you. And now it feels like he has ownership of you. So even though you go away from him, you still feel like you are owned by him. And what you're calling self-sabotaging, saying you're going back to him, it is the emotional tie to him because you gave him a piece of your spirit. And see, a lot of people don't think about this and don't understand this, is when you lie down, it's not just two physical body parts coming together. You got to think about the purpose of what sex is and what happens. You are creating a whole nother soul.
So in order to create another soul that becomes a physical being, a spirit, in having a human experience, to create a baby, it has to be a spiritual transfer. That's why you will see your child do things that you do that you've never taught your child. That's what you might bite your lip. You might bite your lip. You might look a certain way. You might chew your nails. And you will see your child doing something that you do or that their other parent does, and they were never taught that. This is a spirit, this a soul, this, and yeah, it could be a learned behavior, but and no mind will understand this. A doctor, they'll try to explain it, but all they basing off is studies. They ain't God. They just basing it off of studies that's been done by other people who ain't a doctor because they was doing the studies, but before there was such a thing as a doctorate. So now a doctor learning from just another human who paid attention to human behavior and put it in a book. And now the book been put in school, and now the school has become the standard to show that you got knowledge, that you smart. When really you could have smarts and not have wisdom. You could have knowledge and not have wisdom because you don't got common sense. And so what we have to look at is when you lie down with somebody, you giving them a piece of you and you getting up with a piece of them. So even though you go away, and that's why whoever created the term soul tie, that's why they called it soul tie. Because when you lie down with this person, you tying your soul to them. So that's how you get a year out. You get a year out and you come back because the tie stayed on there. And he just thought you were gone, huh? Got a year out, huh? Look, got you back. Okay, all right, done with tired of you. You know what? You're sorry, you're stupid, you're ugly. So what do I do? Throw you back out there. Let you hang out there, let you get bit on by all the piranhas and everything. Okay, yeah, you getting tired. Okay. Reel you right back in. You see what I'm saying? But in order to break that, you got to understand it. You got to get new knowledge. That's the importance of new knowledge. In the course, Real Love University, I talk about getting new knowledge. When you understand what's going on and you understand the mind and the way the mind works, because you got to realize your brain is continuously sending messages throughout your body. Your brain is continuously interacting with your whole ecosystem in your body. So when you argue, you get a release. When you smile, you get a release. When you laugh, you get a release. Whatever release you're experiencing the most, your body starts to require that release. That's why you see kids addicted to video games, because when they get on the game, they get a release. When they don't have the game, their brain is craving the release. When you get in a relationship, you get a release. When you get in the bed, you get a release. When you dealing with Angela, after Asian, you get a release. When you watching nasty movies, you get a release. When you gambling, you playing cards, you laughing, you talking to a certain friend, certain family, you get a release. The brain gets accustomed to that serotonin, dopamine, oxytocin, and it wants it, it craves it, that type, even if it is toxic. Even if it is toxic. That's why some people get so accustomed to arguing that when they get into a situation that there are no arguments, they will create an argument, because the release from an argument feels better than a release from a smile. And so they want the release from the argument instead of the release from the smile. And this is what we have to understand. That's why you can't play with love and relationships. That's why you can't be out here thinking that, oh, I just could sleep with who I want to sleep with, be who I want to be with. No, you putting your life on the line. You putting your life on the line, and you got to understand that. So sister, listen, get your little therapy. So you can understand the scientific methods. So you can understand all the theory that's been come up based on years and years of study. Then you take that knowledge, you apply that knowledge, and then you get on mymentor.life and you get you some application with your life coach to where now you could turn this into something. Now you could turn all your experience and all this pain that you feeling, all this disgust that you feeling, use it. Start a blog, write a book, start a foundation. Create a course for young women your age that's getting ready to go through what you're going through. Create a course, like do something to make sure that this pain can birth purpose, that this pain wasn't just for the sake of going through pain. And this is what we got to understand. This is what we got to realize. And y'all got to understand, and that's the thing. I try to, extend myself and do this question like on the website I created, AskTonyGaskins.com, to where when people need immediate answers, within 5 business days, they write in on AskTonyGaskins.com. But it's like even there, sometimes it get too deep, and I got to, hit a person back. Hey, I'm sending you a refund for this virtual coaching, because the topic you talking about is that's outside of my scope, because I can't have the liability of telling you to do something and then something else going a certain way. So all of this right here is a personal decision that you have to make in your life. And all I could do is provide resources, like say, hey, make sure you get therapy. It's therapy sites that's like MyMentor.life. I created MyMentor.life for life coaches. Some of the coaches are therapists, psychotherapists, marriage and family therapists, some grief counselors. Some of the coaches are therapists as well, and they'll say that in their bio. But there are therapy sites that's set up like MyMentor.life, where you can go and find a therapist like that on the site. So everybody who you feeling like this right here, you going through, you got to do real work. YouTube, it ain't gonna do it. YouTube ain't, even if you watching a doctor on YouTube, that's not enough, because the doctor still has to speak in generalities, because the doctor is talking to tens of thousands or millions of people. It may not be specific to your situation, and no situation is just a cookie cutter situation. So that's another reason why you should not make a drastic decision in your life based off of a YouTube video or a quote or a meme online, because you may think it applies to you and the author will tell you different when they hear your story and say, no, this don't apply to you. I know it sounds like it, but no, in your situation, that's totally different. I actually was talking about golf. And that has happened to me before. I coach somebody and they be like, well, I read your quote online and I did this. I said, that wasn't talking to you. That didn't have nothing to do with you. That actually is a business quote that you applying to your relationship with your child's father. That had nothing to do with that. In your situation, this is what you need to consider. You see what I'm saying? So if you looking to make a change in your life, talk to a professional, outside source, unbiased source, to get some insight on what you need to do. And to the particular lady who wrote in, you got to keep doing the work, and you got to understand the work is not done overnight. Some people, it's 3 years, 4 years, they're still doing the work. So it's gonna take time, because the deeper that relationship went, the more toxic it was, the more work it's going to require. And then you going back out of routine, out of boredom. It's just like when you overcome some type of addiction. Sometimes you got the power to keep going, but you'll just go back just because you can, just to feel it again. Don't even need it. It's not oxygen to you. Like you breathing and living fine without them, but you'll go back just because you can, just to feel it again. And it's just something that you choose to do. Ain't nothing pulling you over, ain't nothing making you go. You choose to do it. But once you understand your mind and that you have the power and the control to make a decision, and when you make the right decision and you, wow, I made this decision and I'm still breathing. So you mean tell me I could breathe without toxicity in my life? You see what I'm saying? And you got to get that literal about it. Are you breathing? Okay. Can you take another breath? Okay. Can you take another breath? Okay. Then you got what it takes to heal, to grow, and to overcome. Hey, God bless you. This is Tony Gaskin. Get going. I got to give me something to eat. And make sure you visit TonyGastonAcademy.com for any courses that you need, where you just want to do the work yourself on yourself. It's a little different than YouTube, a little more serious and directed. And then for those of you who want to work with a professional one-on-one, then get to mymentor.life. And if you happen to be in a relationship, or you want to grade your last relationship, remember my new creation, relationshipcredit.com. Relationshipcredit.com. It's just you go and you answer the questionnaire. Make sure when you select the answer, it actually goes into the answer bar, because sometimes you could click it and it doesn't go into the answer bar, so you won't get any points for that answer. So make sure when you select yes or no or whatever the answer is, that it goes into the answer bar before you hit the next question. And that's relationshipcredit.com. And just fun. Just kind of give you a relationship credit score. Just show you what your score is, where you at, what you could be working on, so on and so forth. It is Tony Gaston. God bless you. We'll talk soon.